Yeah, you good. That's good.
Great.
Okay.
Welcome to the latest episode of Authenticated with your host, Kate McLeod. I am intrigued by people. People watching, I love. People learning, that's where I'm insatiably curious. I'm interested in the why and how of the creative mind's pattern of thinking, the subtext to the creative thinker, or in its more conscious and malleable form, the creative conscious. Because when you are so clear on yourself via the triad of consciousnesses, then you become reflective to others. Meeting yourself is an infectious practice because what feels good is infectious and something I think we could all use a good dose of. So join me in conversations with a diverse arsenal of creative thinkers, from artists to entrepreneurs to serial thinkers ready to optimize their creative conscious. With me, self-made and self-proclaimed creative entrepreneur. Sounds hot, right?
Moiya McTier, welcome to Authenticated.
Hi, Kate. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you are here. You know, you and I have been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, a couple months, I think.
Yeah. I first found your work at Lectures on Tap. I love your approach to science. I love your approach to storytelling. I love your approach to being an artist and being just a human. And I feel like you have a really cool perspective on what a life cycle is, on what your perspective of what a life is, what active is. And I just want to know everything about the intersection of your I'm sorry, I need to take this back. I need to start at the very beginning to say, Dr. Moiya McTier. We're really going to take this back now because
No
I'm like, I
problem.
forgot doctor. Oh my God.
Oh, that's fine. You're good.
Are you sure?
I mean, you said it.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? Maybe we'll just keep it
Yeah.
in like that. You know, it's such a huge like feat. And I think it deserves its appropriate.
Thank you. But the fact that you're having this reaction is exactly why I don't need you to really call me doctor.
Tell me more.
I have only ever corrected jerks. When it's clear that they already don't respect me, then I'm going to force them to put some respect on my name. Like literally, you will call me doctor if you don't think of me as an accomplished, brilliant person.
Yeah.
You clearly do.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, that's actually, I really like that approach to that.
Yeah.
Because it encompasses so much of what you do. You don't take things too seriously. That's what I've learned. But I suspect that's because you have such a vast knowledge of the big universe, the big space, the dust that made all of us, you know?
Ooh, perhaps, yeah. I think it might all be wrapped up. I'm a bit of a curious nihilist. I will say that's a term that my best friend just gave me last night, and I was like, oh my God, that feels like it really fits. I don't think anything on Earth matters because I know how big the universe is, and at the same time, I know that if anything can matter, this is all we have, so it has to matter the most. Mm-hmm. And that does come from my study of the universe. So, yeah.
Did the study of the universe ever relinquish or make bigger like your general fear in life?
My fears are all personal, like failure.
Yeah.
Or not being a good person, however I define it with my sense of justice. But any external thing, maybe studying the universe has quelled some of those fears, but I didn't have many external fears to begin with. You remember the Divergent series?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like 4. Like my fears are failing and I guess falling downstairs.
So you're very human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, is there like a perception around the human experience that has kind of given you that frame to think through?
I think I'm just very accepting of my fate, my future, the breeze that the universe blows my way. Like I have really confronted my insignificance. I remember soon after COVID started, I had a moment where I sat down and I was like, if I die from this pandemic, I'm okay with that. I've done maybe not everything I wanted to do, but I've achieved some stuff.
Yeah.
And in the last 5 years, I have done things I never thought I would be able to do. I've given cool talks. I've traveled the world. I've met really cool people. And I realized even more in the last year that I'm really happy with what I've achieved, and anything else is just like the icing and the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
So whatever comes my way, sure, I've already done what I needed to.
That's a really beautiful perspective to arrive to, and also a really beautiful place to come from, especially going forward.
Tricky though, because it kind of like a post project ennui. Like where is the motivation to do something else,
Yeah.
which is something I'm struggling with right now. Just like, I'm still alive, I'm still here. I still have time to do things, and I still know that I should. But if I've done everything that I needed to do, then I now have to come up with something else.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that. I feel like I've derailed this conversation.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I think my excitement is what got in the way in the beginning. And then I think I got us off to an interesting start, not typical start. That expansiveness of like, well, what's next? Is there a system in which you follow creatively for you to figure out what that is?
Yeah, I follow the fun. I heard a few years ago that there are different types of motivations, external and internal, and there are like different things within those categories. But I didn't want to be motivated anymore by external factors. I didn't want to be motivated by what I should be doing or what other people said I needed to do, and instead whatever was happening inside me. And I'm such a rational person, and I always have been. I feel like I have sacrificed a lot of enjoyment by being very strategic and calculated. I'm a Capricorn, very much a Capricorn. Like I didn't even really enjoy college because I was like focused on classes and work and rugby and like things that I had committed to doing. And so when it came time to start and build my career, I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to enjoy myself. I felt like I was done suffering. So now I follow the fun.
How many years of school is that in total?
Like 20, 21.
21. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said that, because something I've learned from 2 degrees and multiple certificates is that with as much learning that we do, so much unlearning has to happen.
Yes.
Because it's like, it works for you. That's great. I need to learn from you. I don't need to learn you.
I love that.
It's a hard thing to grasp at 18 and anywhere in the ages that traditionally people are in school. That's why I always get so excited when someone's like, oh, I went back to school at 40. I'm like, oh my God, what did you get out of it? Tell me. I love that kind of thing. But there are like these systems that society subscribes to say like, well, this is the commonplace. This is what we all understand. And like, I'd venture to say, I think it's just okay if you're not understood.
Right. Yeah. Common doesn't mean ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And especially in academia, I noticed over and over again a pattern of advisors wanting to make mini thems in their students and not advising with what their student wanted in mind. And for most students coming through academia, that's totally fine, but it's gonna rub some people the wrong way and it's gonna make some people fall through the cracks. I was really intentional with my advisor in grad school, making it clear that I was going to do science communication, making it clear what type of advising style I would be, I don't know, most open to. Not everyone can do that.
Where do you think this sense of knowing yourself came from?
That's a great question. I don't feel like I do. Maybe it comes from the fact that I know I don't enough.
Yeah. That's the coolest place to be, is that.
Where you know that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
So you have to keep going if you want to.
It's the biggest wrestling match to have with your ego to get there. But I think it's a place that people really would benefit a lot from sitting.
Yeah.
Just enjoying, like, I think it goes beyond like enjoying your own company. Like something I love to say is like, I really genuinely enjoy my brain.
Oh,
I love hanging out up here.
One thing I ask myself is, would I trade my brain or insert other thing with any random insert thing from the universe? And as much as I will complain about my brain sometimes and the way that it diverges from what I would like it to, I wouldn't trade it at all.
No. Your relationship with curiosity, what is that like?
Close, intimate. Every story that my parents or relatives have told me from when I was a child are like centered around curiosity and also kind of like knowing what I wanted. I apparently have been very stubborn and tenacious in my pursuit of knowledge since a very young age. My mom, when she had me, she was in grad school. She was working on her PhD in English and literature.
Wow.
And so my first toys were books. Like, she was studying for her comprehensive exams when I was a baby. I was surrounded by the classic writers, and I grew up going to school with her and then hanging out with the psychology and math professors across the hallway. And I thought that that's just how everyone's brains worked, that everyone was always trying to learn something new from what already existed and also like add to the compendium of knowledge that the human race has produced. And that, I just thought that's what everyone did. So it never occurred to me that curiosity wouldn't be like a driving force in everyone else's life.
Was there ever a moment that you had to ensure that you kept that for yourself, or have you just always naturally kept it for yourself?
Are you reading my mind? Like, do you know, how do you know exactly what happened?
I don't.
Yes. I think when you get too deep in the weeds of trying to understand some great truth bigger than yourself, then it gets in the way of understanding that truth. Like it makes, if you don't enjoy the process, I think you mentioned this earlier, if you don't enjoy the process of it, then the reward you get at the end, even if that reward is what you always wanted, it's not as sweet. So in grad school, I felt myself getting jaded and cynical, and I was still working towards answering a question that I really wanted to answer, which was, is there a place in the galaxy where life is most likely to form? A big, interesting question. But 5 years spent trying to answer it in a toxic system when I could see a life that I wanted more, which was being a science communicator. That was hard, and that kind of did kill my curiosity. And what got me through it, what got me through grad school, was not what got me into it. It wasn't the curiosity, it was spite. Like I started with curiosity but ended with nope, enough people have told me that I probably won't get through, that I'm gonna get through.
Watch me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll prove it to you. Anything is genuinely possible.
Yeah.
And you know that. Like,
Yeah.
I love that coming from that. So like when I don't have patience, I will summon curiosity, because I can guarantee you I have enough curiosity to go around. Or I'm like, okay, great. I can't be patient right now. And so I've had more of a cognizant relationship with it as I get older, but coming from anger, spite, like things of like, well, then watch me. It's a pretty powerful place to come from.
Yeah, it can. But it is still an external motivator.
And so when you eliminate that, then that's not a place you have to come from anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I have been trying to focus on that less and less. And now I feel like I'm not getting through my career through spite, which feels better than how I got through grad school.
Okay, so I know that that's like a big lesson to learn, right? But is life a science experiment for you? Like once you learn something, do you go back and do it again?
Well, I do love iterative processes, but I hate repeating myself. So I'm not going to go back unless I have really learned a lesson. And I also, it's not a circle, it's a spiral, right? Like you should never go back to the exact same point, but maybe the same phase in the cycle, but one level up. Did that make any sense?
That makes complete sense. And the visual of a spiral makes a lot more sense than a circle, because when you spiral, when the spiral returns to a place of familiarity, it can have perspective of looking back at the old ones.
Yes.
But it still continues forward, because you can't ever actually return to any place at the same time. I really like that visual a lot.
Excellent.
Your storytelling blends so beautifully into your knowledge of the world of astrophysics. When those two blend, how do you, who talks to each other? What's that communication like? Because storytelling is like so much about the human experience and the morals. Can you talk a little bit about that intersection?
Sure. Between astronomy and folklore and mythology. Yeah. I like to say that both of these two fields are two sides of the same coin, and that coin buys us one thing, which is an understanding of the universe. Astronomy is the oldest science. We have evidence that there were indigenous Australians doing real astronomy research, tracking the motion of objects in the sky more than 45,000 years ago.
How are they tracking it?
Like with their eyes, tracking the planets and the sun and the moon, and then kind of getting an intuitive and also scientific understanding, because it's based on observation, of where they will be next. Yeah.
data for predictive and okay.
Yeah. So what we think early astronomers, starting with the Greeks, were doing, no, the indigenous Australians were doing that way earlier. And then the Mesopotamians were doing that, way earlier than the Greeks. So astronomy goes back to the oldest science because it's humanity's attempt to understand the universe and some of the most fundamental questions that humans have ever asked. Where do we come from? Are we alone? Why are we here? What's going to happen next? All of those are astrophysics questions, but they are also mythology questions. It's the question that creation myths answer, and afterlife myths, and religion. We're all trying to understand the same thing, and I feel so lucky that I get to approach it from these two angles because it makes my understanding of it richer, and then I get to share that with other people, hopefully.
It seems like the most universal language to talk to someone about.
Or at least the most universal set of codes that I can switch between.
Yes. Yeah. Storytelling, and also just like to answer these questions that we all just inherently have. And when you were saying that about how far back this data will date back to, as far as like people have been observing it, I couldn't help but think about how clear the sky would have been at that time.
Oh, yeah. It's bad now.
Yeah.
The Dark Sky Association says that 80% of the sky is occluded from us because of either light or air pollution.
The poetic like irony of that is like not lost on me. And that actually genuinely makes me a little sad that we're blocking ourselves from our own knowledge of self.
Yeah.
With that.
And now you have to pay a lot of money to go on an astrotourism trip to experience a truly dark sky. Which is not, it's just one of the many pieces of connection that humanity has lost over the last couple hundred years.
Has lost, yes. I grew up in California. I was born in Long Beach, and then we spent a lot of time in Northern California. But what always struck me up there was laying outside on the porch with my parents and my siblings and looking at the sky. Because it was just more than any city could ever give you.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is why we're here for like a different perspective. And you saw a shooting star at least every night. Wow. Because it's so visible. And it's amazing to think about how much is happening around us. I've always been very fascinated by space. My first intro into it is about really thinking about it and what space meant to me and what it would feel like is when someone told me that their version of hell is floating through space and sound deprivation, light deprivation. You can't speak, but just alone with your thoughts floating for forever. It's interesting for it to be this vast space that you would be alone. But then the more I learned about it, I was like, but there's no way you'd be alone.
Yay. I was just about to say it, that I feel like the universe is a friend. And I feel like all of the objects in the universe, like you're never alone. Because the universe is full and it's dynamic and it's interactive. It might be invisible what's around you, but there's still stuff.
This is such a random question. How would you rate the depictions of extraterrestrial life by the entertainment industry?
Bad. It's one of my biggest pet peeves.
I'm like, guys, they don't look like this. First of all, it's probably just bacteria, first of all.
I understand why there are so many humanoid aliens in science fiction, budget reasons, the fact that it's easier for us to empathize with something that looks more like us. So if we want these aliens to be real, compelling characters, they probably shouldn't look, like a Gleep-Glorp blob.
Yeah.
So, but I want more Gleep-Glorp blobs. We need them because I studied exoplanets. I know how different they are. They have different masses. They orbit different types of stars. There's no way that all of the millions of random processes that led to bipedal humanoids here on Earth would occur on most other planets.
Bipedal?
Walking on two legs.
I am going to use that in an annoying amount this week.
Good.
Great.
I do a lot of fictional world building. So I haven't just studied the planets. I then have worked with artists and other creative people for years over and over again, imagining other fictional worlds. And when you let people have the freedom to not make it humanoid, they they make some weird stuff, and we need more weird stuff in our fiction and media these days.
Because we need more malleability and creative thinking, I think.
Kate, yes. Thank you.
There is this like rigid conformity to, and I think it's all relationship with ego, you know, of just like, no, this is right. And I'm like, okay, it might have been then, but like, I just don't think that you should ever subscribe to anything always being right. Because like, I believe in gravity, right? Like I can observe gravity and I know the laws of gravity, but like, who's to say that one day that doesn't shift if something else shifts?
Right. And who's to say that there's not something deeper than our current understanding of gravity that doesn't change how gravity works or how we perceive it, but does change our fundamental understanding of it. Like we don't truly know how gravity works. It's the only force that we've discovered that we can't find a force carrying particle for. We've imagined the graviton, but we haven't discovered it yet. So maybe one day we'll find out it's not like the other forces at all.
The forces that are visible and not visible to humans, do you think that's for a reason, or do you think we will eventually evolve to perceive more of them?
What a great question. Evolution doesn't work towards any goal other than survival right now.
So it would have to be contingent on a means of survival.
Yeah. For us, anyway. Or a means of attraction, because survival in our modern day context doesn't mean the same thing that it did when we were evolving in jungles. So
Correct.
we do have a lot weirder cultural influence on our evolution than we probably did like 100,000 years ago.
Do you think that's because of internet and accessibility to ideas?
That's part of it. That's a big part of it. Yeah, this cult of personality that was made possible by the internet and kind of pervasive media structures and capitalism, you know, like all of the things. But I think the internet is a part of it. It's bigger, you know, like we have lost community. We've lost touch with nature. We've lost touch with space. We have lost touch with curiosity and creativity. I've spent the last 2 years writing a book about how we are as a society valuing creativity less and less. And that is all going to have an impact.
It's going to have a huge impact. I've been working in my creative consulting, I've been translating my acting method into a method to develop one's creative conscious. And it's because people don't know, and this is like one of the things I had young as a kid and I just didn't know that people didn't have it, is like people don't think creatively. People don't come up with creative solutions. People don't come up with, they look at one tool and they subscribe to what that tool is marketed to be towards them. And I'm like, I'm telling you, that tool can actually be a lot of other things. And I like to like mix and match and be like, well, if I have confidence in this area, but not this area, how can I apply the confidence of this area over to this area and just pretend like it's working until I actually figure out how it would work?
How comfortable are you being uncomfortable?
Pretty comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Because the most creative people are, and the most genius people are, because it's really uncomfortable to think outside the box or to go against what you've been taught.
Yes.
And it's so tempting when you hit that obstacle to back off and be like, never mind. I'm going to just see that as a hammer and use it as a hammer for the rest of my life. Because for some people, it really stretching that creativity can feel like getting back in the gym and starting with a 200-pound squat.
It can be small ways. Like I am that person who's like, no, I'm gonna go do that. That sounds fun. Like that sounds like hard, exciting, and like a little scary, and I want to be thrilled. But like for someone else, I'm like, I get why that is scary, because your brain can't perceive the difference of danger. Like it's just known as danger, and like, okay, let's abandon ship. But yeah, if you stay there a little bit longer, you're actually just going to learn more about yourself and chase the fun a bit more, because it is fun to see other people go like, what? I'm like, were you surprised?
It is. It is like, haha, I fooled you. You didn't expect that.
What is your definition of fun, since you are a fun chaser?
Oh, something that I would want to do if I had free time. I told you before we started recording, I am recreationally lazy. I love sitting on a couch and watching TV or consuming media or imagining things. I love crafting. So I pick jobs, I guess, or tasks that give me that same feeling. And that doesn't mean I love everything I do. Like, I hate answering emails. Putting together a slideshow presentation can be a drag, but I know that I'm going to love presenting the slideshow.
For acting, I hate learning lines.
Yes. Oh, it's so tedious.
It's so tedious. It's so annoying. But once I have them and get to play with them and live in that world like carefree, couldn't be happier. But I don't know if, I mean, there are things in my life that like don't require that like push through hard task kind of thing. And I don't know if it's like the check-in to be like, hey, are we recommitting to this? Hey, are we recommitting? Like, it's building that muscle potentially. But yeah, you have to like enjoy your own user experience, because then by the end, whatever you've created, if you aren't enjoying it, then you're not going to enjoy what you created.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Really?
Yeah, there have been times when I've recorded a podcast episode and during it, I know I'm not this one, like one of my own. No, definitely, I'm having a great time. But there have been episodes of my own podcast where I unfortunately know I'm not enjoying it. And then I don't even want to share it afterwards. Like the guest could have been great, but I was just having an off day and I feel bad about that piece of work. When you feel bad about your piece of work, you're not going to want to go back to it. You're not going to want to iterate on it. But there's a difference between feeling bad about a piece of work because you know you can do better, and bad about a piece of work because you were never going to put your all into it to begin with.
How do you check yourself to make sure you're in alignment before you even start?
I'll try things. If it's a completely new experience, I'll give it a go. Someone asked me to do a stand-up comedy show and I was like, sure, why not? Someone asked me to be an actor in a mini series that we filmed and I was like, okay. And I liked the acting more than I thought I would. And I think when you are chasing fun, it's not all about chasing comfort and known joy. It's about really trying to explore and figure out what you would like.
It's about genuinely being that person, and everybody is typically seeking out joy, thrill, fulfillment, happiness, like things that make them feel good. Everyone's like a hunter of like good sensation, essentially. And I watched the series. I told you, I watched the series this morning. I loved it.
Thanks.
It was fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. I loved the communication relationship between a millennial and a boomer. I love.
He's not even a boomer. That's the thing.
Yeah. I was like, you call him a boomer, and I'm looking at him like, someone's had some work done, or.
There were several times during the filming process where I was like, dude, you never correct me. And he was like, you know, you're spiritually not wrong.
I also liked the blending of that series too, of it acknowledging realities, whether it's like who the two people are who are stepping into these roles, because there is a version of you that exists somewhere where you are that officer.
Yeah.
And so just to like, I think there's a difference in acting, and both have merit, but like there are some where you transform and become this new thing, and there's another where you just use yourself as the channel to be.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys were doing, which I think is the perfect example of explaining to someone that who they are is enough, and bringing that. And then also it just acknowledged the way that we have to literally get up and keep going when chaos is ensuing around us constantly, and how we persist in a negative world that is systematically trying to suppress and like tear us down and tear us apart and relinquish us of joy. It was like a really cool, fun approach, and also in little tiny digestible. I love that it was a mini series.
Bite size.
I'm
glad you said that. I made the show with two of my friends, two of my best friends, who have been working in the TV industry for years and have not gotten any of the recognition that they truly deserve because of how talented they are. And so what you just said, I feel about them so much, that I admire the way they keep trucking along in this industry that has not been kind to them. Because I know that I can like leave the comedy set and go back to my like science speaker writer job, and they don't have that, but they're still like, they love this, like they're committed to it. And that's beautiful to see.
I love people chasing things they genuinely enjoy. But like in your work, you are genuinely enjoying yourself. And I see you also genuinely responding to audience members and like interaction. It's a live feedback loop. So how much does the audience inform what you've presented? Like, do you usually change your mind during a presentation?
Oh, maybe not during it, because I already have the slideshow. So the journey is set. The beginning and the destination are set, but I might like take a little alleyway that I wasn't planning on taking, depending on what the audience is really responding to. I love being in dialogue with people. You know, my favorite part of a talk is the Q&A, where I get to really see, did what I say make sense? Or do people in this room know things that I don't, that I can like bring in next time? Or are they asking questions that change my understanding of something? Yeah, that happens all the time. So I really look forward to those moments.
Ooh, that's a beautiful ability to be able to decentralize yourself from it and make it about the thing in the middle as opposed to about you or about them. Especially for someone as brilliant as you, for you to have the thought, does someone in this room know something I don't? I love that. I love that so much because my favorite rooms to be in are the ones that I don't know the most, like where I know the least.
That's because you're comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
And I am comfortable being uncomfortable, but only when I like what's on the other side.
Yeah. Wait, what's your tolerance for it?
Well, with socializing, it's very low. I'm a hardcore introvert unless I'm in Dr. Moiya mode, which has been really helpful for me over the last few years to distinguish Dr. Moiya from Moiya. Dr. Moiya is tireless. She can talk to anyone as long as it's about, you know, science and not her feelings. Right. She doesn't really need food. She's a machine. Dr. Moiya it's data. Dr. Moiya is like data for Star Trek. But Moiya is softer and is more introverted and needs a lot more sleep. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the two identities?
When I'm working, I'm Dr. Moiya. Like when I'm at a venue, when I'm on stage, I'm Dr. Moiya. As soon as I leave, I'm Moiya again.
So it's physics. You were either in Dr. Moiya or Moiya.
Yeah, it's quantum states.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing that you've ever learned?
That's the hardest question you've asked so far. It's simple, but it is how big it is. We learn that. I think like the first thing you learn about the solar system or the universe is like, it's so big. But people don't have the concept of astronomical sizes until you really sit with it for a long time. I love how far away things can be because it expands my personal perspective of both space and time, because I know that as you move farther away in space, you are moving further back in time, because I understand even the fastest force in the universe, light, takes time to travel. And that, like, there's so many ways that kind of rebounds back on my personal philosophies about things. Like, sure, I would like to have gotten places in my career or life faster than I have, but even light takes time to get somewhere.
Even the fastest force in the universe takes time.
There are some times when I want to go into my little introvert hole and not really interact with other people. And then I'm like, well, even galaxies can't exist in complete isolation without quenching their star formation. They need inputs of gas from other galaxies to survive. There are so many examples of that where getting that larger perspective has helped me in my tiny little human life.
That massive understanding to help locally. Is your experience that it like neutralizes, because we're both human, we've gone through the same things, we've gone through rejection, we've gone through friendships, seasons coming to an end. Essentially what I mean is voids happening within us emotionally and something else filling that. And I think for me, it's age, the time that has given me that understanding that is how things happen. Do you have a specific thought around that, just because you've learned about the biggest and then you think about it locally?
That's a really interesting way of putting it. Maybe, yeah. Because it's hard to not compare yourself to something.
Yes.
And the advice we get is don't compare yourself to other people, and that's good advice. It's bad science to compare yourself to other people, because you don't know what their starting conditions were. You don't know what factors are going on in their life to manipulate the calculus of their decisions and outcomes. So it's literally bad science to compare yourself to another human being. But it's less damaging to compare yourself to forces larger than life.
Yeah.
And so when I compare myself to the galaxy, I'm never going to feel bad. I will feel small and insignificant, but never inadequate.
But still part of the big thing.
I am a part of the big thing. Yeah. And I am doing my part in the big thing.
And you're mirroring the big thing too, because you are science.
Ooh. Say more.
Well, and I think that's everyone's fascination with an ocean, fire, space. They are these forces that exist on their own, and they are stronger than you, but you live with them. And when you look at something scientifically, or you look at something like a science experiment, when I look at things as physics, I'm either in it or I'm out of it. Like I'm in integrity or I'm out of integrity. It's like the more I learn about science, the more I understand the ebbs and flows of my own emotional life. Because there is nothing that exists here that wasn't created from the same shit. Like it's all the same stuff.
Just recycled.
It's just recycled.
Star stuff recycled.
Star stuff recycled. After your talk, I wrote this journal entry that I've been thinking about a lot, which is in moments in time, like when I lost my grandfather, like super, super devastated, obviously loved him, was very sad. And my next statement does not diminish his value in the world or in my life. But when that person physically left, I had said in the speech at his funeral, I was like, I've concluded that like grief is just my abundance of love, no longer knowing where it's supposed to go. But when this person moves on, that space doesn't leave with me too. It's not like that hole stays whole like forever. Something fills it. And it's like, what is the next thing that comes in? Like, thank you for teaching me how to love in this space so I can put more love in it.
Yeah, that's really nice.
But it seems scientific to me when I think about it.
Yeah. There is a medium and there is a fluid that can pass through the medium, and it's not going to hold to a rigid state. It's going to flow into the empty space.
What do you think about the laws of science and then also the human experience?
I think whether it's science or stories, it's all a way of trying to understand what's around us. And so you could have said it that way in terms of physics. You could have said it in terms of spirituality. You could have said it in terms of something more literary, like a theme that he imparted on you or something.
Yeah.
You could have said it in any of those languages, and it would have poked at the same thing. And I think a gift that I have, because of the different things I've studied, is understanding what you're trying to get at, no matter which of those languages you're speaking. And I don't care which language you're speaking. It's not always going to be the same language that I speak, but that's okay. I don't mind translating. And I love hearing other regional dialects.
And other experiences, right? And just like other relations, like, oh, it works that way too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it changes my perspective. So that's a gift that like connecting with another person gives you.
You have a special ability to listen too. I've noticed, like to really hear when you listen. And that's probably, I would assume it would come from the storytelling, because it requires a lot of listening.
It does.
So what's your relationship like to listening?
Yeah. I like sitting in the corner and people watching. I like collecting data. And so there's a lot of listening in both of those. I'm really curious. I think I'm more curious about what you have to say than I am excited to say whatever I have. And I know that I have to say things to get you to say more things, but that's how I see conversation. Instead of opportunities for me to speak, whatever I have to say, unless I'm like giving a lecture, is just the encouragement for you to say more things.
To hear more.
To hear more, to learn more about what you have to say, about who you are as a person.
That's really special. I'm also thinking back to like you saying like, you know, you don't want it to be external, but that isn't really external at all. That's internal between two people. Or however many people are in the conversation. You'd have conversations with more than two people.
Yeah. But the motivation there is still internal. Like it's still something I am seeking out because I'm excited to.
Because you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a feeling inside you, or do you have any sort of like moral compass that tells you when you're in alignment and when you're out?
With another person?
Just like with what you're doing, any action, like you're like, oh, this is like where I want to be, like what I'm doing.
I have learned that over the last few years. I said earlier that I'm a very rational person. I intellectualize before I feel things by default.
I can relate.
I'm sure you can. And so part of my journey trying to get better at identifying feelings was learning where and how my stress manifests. Because I had heard from so many people in my life that it's an emotion that you feel, or like you feel it in your shoulders or whatever. Over the last couple of years, I've realized that I do feel it in my gut. When I am stressed or when I'm upset, I get nauseated. There was a film shoot thing that I was supposed to do a couple years ago. They wanted me to fly out to LA and talk about aliens, and I wouldn't get any final control over what they put out into the world. And I agreed to do it because there was a cool name attached to it, but I knew I was feeling uncomfortable. And then in the days leading up, they had a bunch of restrictions. They didn't want me to wear my natural hair because of the green screen. I've worn my hair on a green screen so many times.
Yeah. Also, your tech is bad.
Yeah.
Chill.
Your tech, or like your editors are bad. Like, don't put that on me.
Yeah.
So I was feeling really uncomfortable with the situation, but I got in the cab to go to the airport anyway. And when I got to the airport, before I even stepped through the doors, I threw up in the trash can outside. And so I called my agent and I was like, hey, I can't go to this thing. I'm so sorry. And I got in a cab and I turned back around. And there definitely is a version of past Moiya who would have gotten on that plane anyway.
Yeah.
I know because I got on the plane 6 months earlier when the same thing happened. So I learned. I was on the upper level of the spiral when I got back in the Uber and went home instead of going to this gig. Mm-hmm. And now, because I know that my gut is what I'm supposed to listen to, I will do that.
That makes me think about what your relationship, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but what's your relationship with shame?
Interesting question. More intimate than I would like it to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am very aware of being perceived, and I do spend a lot more time than I want thinking about how others think of me, and that leads to a lot of shame if I feel like I've made any misstep. But I am getting better at not defaulting to that reaction. Mm-hmm. Big Mouth helped a lot. The show.
Really?
With the shame wizard.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's. I would recommend it.
Okay.
If you like that type of like Nick Kroll kind of crass humor.
I do.
Yeah, it's really funny. Clearly, I love to personify things. Like I personified the galaxy. I loved their depiction of these different emotions. The shame wizard, just like giving a name to it, lets me kind of banish it in my mind when I feel it coming on.
It demystifies it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know what that is. Mm-hmm. Shame monster, like, get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a voice in my head. I've named it Carl. And anytime Carl says something mean to me, like, Moiya, that was a shitty talk, or Moiya, this person does not enjoy being around you, I can say, shut up, Carl.
Shut up, Carl.
Go away.
That's a really good trick. And that's also like a really good relationship with fun.
Yeah. I love whimsy, Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to bring more whimsy into my life and others.
Just more play.
Yeah.
I just don't think that everything has to be that serious.
Mm-hmm. Even when something is serious, you can have fun with it or around it or through it or something, whatever preposition you want to use.
I want to enjoy myself. I want to be inspired every day. Mm-hmm. I am working very hard as an entrepreneur to like really ensure that everything I'm building is something that I am going to be fundamentally in line with, even though it can change.
Love.
And everything is built and designed to honor its own evolution, because one thing does not happen once and then it's stagnant.
Yep.
Got to keep going, because something I love and something I know about like people when we match or when we don't is like, I'm very invested in being an active participant in my own evolution and being excited by it. And also like, I don't want to be the same me that I was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
That would be so boring.
That would be so boring. Mm-hmm. It would be too predictable. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think anything genuinely works like that.
Yeah. The universe doesn't.
Yeah. Is there anything that's a constant in the universe?
We're trying to figure that out. The one thing that came to mind is the cosmological constant, which would be like the number that describes how strong dark energy is when it's accelerating the expansion of the universe. Mm-hmm. And we're not sure if that's a constant factor throughout the age of the universe or if it changes depending on where you are or how much matter is around you. But we still call it the cosmological constant. So even the things that we say are constant are not necessarily.
Saying something is a constant is probably just like an attempt to put it in like a digestible form.
Mm-hmm. We love to categorize things, and we love to bring some certainty by calling something by absolutes. We love to call that a constant. We love to put things into like taxonomies and define for once and for all what they are.
Yeah.
But the universe is more dynamic than that. There are more spectrums than there are quantum states and discrete forms in the universe and in our lives.
Why do you think humans are so heavily motivated to understand instead of motivated to accept that it's a constant state of not understanding?
Survival, maybe. I think we got to this point because we were the best at understanding our surroundings and adapting to them. So maybe you can call it ego, you can call it like our evolutionary imperative, but we humans are like wired to at least try to understand what's around us. And storytelling is how we like encode what we understand. There used to be a time like with oral storytelling where stories were more flexible, but now you put things down. You write them down, you put them in stone. There are now official versions of things. But in my folklore classes, we were taught that there are no official versions of myths. And all of them are equally valid because they're all iterations on a theme that are trying to get at the same thing. But we now, in order to say like, no, we know that thing, we understand that thing, it's just easier and it feels safer to put a little box around it.
Yeah.
We figured that out.
Check. What is the biggest difference between storytelling pre-transcription and post?
Remember earlier when you asked me how much I change a talk based on the audience? People used to do that a lot more because they had to, or because there wasn't a script that they were working from. So I think oral storytellers were switching up I know they were switching up stories based on who was in the room with them. And it was such a strong connection between storyteller and listener. And now most storytellers are writers or designers or graphic artists, and they spend most of their time storytelling in their room alone, like crafting the story. And then sometimes they get to share it with an audience, but usually after it's already done. I think there are very few scenarios these days where you make your art, like the final form of the art, in tandem with a whole group of other people.
Do you think that there's been like a depersonalization because of that?
I think there's been an ultra personalization of the artist. I think that is a part of this whole valuing creativity less. I say in the book I've been writing that we have, on average, started to pay much more attention to the artist than the art they produce, or the creator than whatever they create, to the point where we are now elevating people to like genius celebrity status, even when they don't actually create anything at all. But just because you like who they are as a person, that's where we get influencers from. A lot of them.
We care more about context than we do. No, that's actually not right.
It's the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. We're starved for connection. Of course, we're going to try and latch on to these parasocial relationships and develop strong feelings and opinions for these people. But that's not the type of connection we used to be able to have.
But, I think about, and maybe this is just like me having like a trust issue in this particular like area, and me just not living during the time of just like pure oral history. But to me, I'm like, ugh, how much manipulation is in there, for like the worst, to like make sure like this is the story you take. Because that happens a lot. It's why I left Christianity. It was because I was like, this thing clicked when I was 15 where I was like, oh, you're thinking that you're responsible for how I'm going to feel and what I'm going to think after this, instead of just telling me the information and letting me come to my conclusion. And then I'm like, now this is where the human comes in. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if I want to do that.
That's fascinating. Okay. I see where you're coming from. But isn't that, I mean, yeah, it can be nefarious, but that's the point of connection.
Yeah.
Is that any sort of moment of empathy is not intentionally or maliciously manipulative, but it is a moment of manipulation. By connecting with another person, you're influencing them.
Yeah.
We do this with modern writers too, but you are being influenced and manipulated by their their individual work.
Oh,
And I
so
think
like
that
subconsciously, you mean?
it's like if the oral storyteller is being themselves influenced by the audience, then all of the audience members who are influenced by them are also being influenced by all of the other audience members. With modern artists, the audience is being influenced by the artist, but not in real time, usually the other way around.
Is this knowledge how you show up so authentically?
I have no idea.
Totally fair. Sometimes, honestly, yeah, no, fair.
I feel like I don't know if I could point at any piece of knowledge I've gained or sought that would help me be more authentic. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you reach authenticity, that comes after introspection. There are definitely things I've learned about myself that help me be more authentic.
Yeah.
I also think that my authenticity comes from my autism and the fact that if I feel like I am putting on any sort of front that is not like a mask for survival almost, then it rubs against my sense of justice and I feel wrong. It's why when you said earlier there are different types of acting, there's one where you like become a different person and one where you just like bring yourself to it. I enjoyed the one where I brought myself to it. Now after going through it, I think I really would not enjoy the one where I have to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah. But do you know what a gift that is to like genuinely enjoy being who you are? That's like the coolest thing, I think.
Yeah, another one that I wouldn't just randomly trade with anyone else. My personality, yeah.
Yeah. Even if a genie comes out of a magical bottle and says, you can have this person's brain, body, eyes, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you've ever had a time where I'm like, I'm down.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would definitely not be my genie wish.
Yeah, no, I have so many other cooler genie wishes. Please. First of all, more wishes. We all know. Come on. Come on. And also a lot bigger picture things.
Yes. Mine would be to be able to comprehend all of the languages in the universe.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Thank you.
Mine would be to like have my big idea and then not need a team to execute it. But to do that thing like in Bruce Almighty where it goes like that's what I want. I want to be able to go like big creative idea and then like output. And then it immediately happens. Because the thing about creativity for me is like sometimes it gets stale. Like things time out. And I'm like, oh, no. And so I've had to speed up my process to get the output out. Because then otherwise then there's new input. And then it's not authentic anymore because I'm like, oh, the thing got stale. I'm actually now thinking about this thing.
Oh, I'm pushing against that too now. Yeah, because I can feel myself itching to start my next book, but I still have stuff on this book to do. And I'm like, no, I have to put my full self into this book because it deserves it.
Yeah.
And I've had to try and trade myself out of the like constantly chasing something new.
But I think that's what it means to be like insatiably curious.
True.
Yes.
True. And in lieu of a genie. but when you get to make that wish, the type of speed, creative productivity, and not like skipping to the end, because that's not what you said. Mm-mm. You want to do the whole process. You just want to be able to do that process quicker.
Really quickly. And I know that like somewhere down the line, I'm going to have like an A team, but I wish I was able to touch every single part of it because that's what I've learned is I love the whole process. And I learned so much along the way and I changed my mind so much along the way. And I just get more and more intrigued by the idea. And then I just get to do iterations off of that idea. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I logged it this way. Okay, now think about it this way. Now think about it this way.
Ooh, yes, I love exploring things from different perspectives.
When does your next book come out?
August 18th, 2026.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's a little scary.
What's the name of this one?
It's called Mothers of Invention. The muses from Greek mythology are the mothers of invention, and I have written this exploration of human creativity and the idea of genius and the cult of personality from their points of view. The muse of history, Cleo, is curating her sister's journal entries, which they wrote as they were inspiring humans to invent things like the telescope and the internet and jazz music, and bringing those journal entries in to sit between her historical knowledge drops.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't wait.
I know. This is the most, I think, like creative project I personally have ever done.
And what a great way to celebrate women and also their first contributions that are still continuing. I love that. Refocus the lens because you know those women are powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, you know better than I do.
I do. I think about the muses now a lot. I feel like every time I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, which muse is with me now?
I really like that. Oh, that's so special. Where can people find you, follow you, continue to experience you?
Yeah, I'm on all the socials as Go Astro Mo. I made the handle when I was a sophomore in college because a professor made us make a Twitter account, and now it's stuck. So I'm Go Astro Mo everywhere. My website is moiamctier.com. You can listen to my podcast, Pale Blue Pod, if you are kind of overwhelmed by the universe but still want to be its friend. And check out my book about the Milky Way galaxy, written from its perspective because it's called The Milky Way, an autobiography of our galaxy. She's so sassy.
Oh man, I can't wait to see her character through your eyes, genuinely. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been like a really lovely talk. Thank you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much for the invitation.
And that's the latest. I'm honored to have been part of your thinking sphere today. Feel free to share, like, and subscribe on this platform or follow and participate on any of my social media platforms. If this practice intrigues you as much as it does me, then join us in the Me3 community, where we will work directly and you will curate a mindful method of thinking to define your own creative conscious. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Authenticated. I love that you're here.